Are the Red Sox actually looking to do what we want them to do? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin, and thank you very much for clicking on this video. Happy belated Thanksgiving to those of you in the US and who celebrate it. I hope you guys all had a wonderful day. If you're still in the mood of giving, we are still raising money for the Movember Foundation. We have exactly 3 days, including today, to get to our goal of $3,000. In the last couple of days, we officially hit $2,000, so we're just $1,000 away. And if we get to $3,000, one person who donates is going to win opening day tickets to 2026, so make sure you're taking advantage of that in the last couple of days here and using the link in the description. Anyways, we got a little bit of Red Sox news, or I should say Red Sox updates, yesterday during Turkey Day. It always feels like the Red Sox, we get something during Turkey Day, right? Last year was that false report that the Red Sox had signed Juan Soto. I don't know if you guys remember that, but this year it is a little bit more tangible than that. So we're going to go over it. We got a couple of things here. We've got a trade update from the Red Sox, specifically regarding Jarren Duran, which I find really interesting. We also have some mindset as to where the Red Sox may be when they're trying to figure out who they're going to sign for an offensive bat, or specifically in this case bats, but there's still something holding me back from getting excited about this report, and I think that's exactly where we should start. Now, the report we are talking about today comes from Jon Heyman in the New York Post, and normally I'm a little bit weary of Jon Heyman, right? He's a little bit of a mouthpiece for Scott Boras, and some of his reports specifically regarding the Boston Red Sox, especially over the last couple of years, have been a bit off. I don't know if you guys remember the Jordan Montgomery whole thing. What was that, coming in the 2024 season? But he was all over the Red Sox getting Montgomery and ended up going literally anywhere else. However, recently, Jon Heyman's been on a little bit of a heater. He was the one who broke the Sonny Gray trade for the Boston Red Sox, and he was the one who broke the Dylan Cease signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. So maybe his Twitter fingers are on fire a little bit right now. But the specific report we are talking about here is that, according to him, the Red Sox are considering signing two of the following bats: Schwarber, Alonso, Okamoto, Real Muto, and Alex Bregman, adding in that they prefer right-handers, but Schwarber strongly in the mix. The exact quote for that was, "Bregman seems like the most likely fit, but they'd love to add another big bat with righty hitters preferred, although Schwarber strongly in the mix following his brilliant 56 home run season, excellent clubhouse rep, and familiarity with his cameo here in 2021. Now, the full article can be found in the description if you want to read the full thing, but this is kind of the Red Sox highlight here, right? This is the thing that everyone should be interested in. It's a very encouraging update. It's nothing like, oh my God, the Red Sox are definitively signing two of these guys. You know, the next 6 years for the Red Sox are going to be sunshine and rainbows. Book your ticket to a duck boat celebration, right? Nothing like that, but to me, this is a big update because it's the first time a national or local reporter has used the word bats when talking about the Red Sox pursuit of offense this offseason, right? So far this year, when we've talked about, a beat reporter or a national reporter or something like that, talking about the Red Sox big addition to this offense, we've used the word a bat, right? It's always been, one of Alonso, Schwarber, Bregman, Bichette, right? But it's never been multiples of them. This is the first time we've seen multiples, and we've talked about this 1,000 times on this channel. This is how you take that legitimate step into, hey, this could be a division contender. Hey, this could be a World Series favorite, right? Simply bringing back Bregman isn't that step forward that a lot of us Red Sox fans want or are expecting from the Red Sox this offseason. This is what we want them to do, right? So obviously, this is an incredibly encouraging update. This is something that we should sit there and we should say, yeah, this is the standard we should be holding them to, right? We as Red Sox fans have kind of been, pessimistic over the last few years, but what that's led to is sort of letting the Red Sox off the hook a little bit. Yeah, we expected them to not do enough. We expected them to not sign that big deal. I'm expecting them to make multiples of moves this offseason to improve this offense, and this is the first legitimate update that's been sort of in line with that thinking. So it's obviously exciting to see this officially reported, even if it is from a guy like Jon Heyman, who hasn't exactly had the full pulse on the Red Sox over the past few off seasons. However, again, like I said in the intro, there's something about this that just simply can't get my hopes up all that much. And I know exactly what it is, actually. To me, it's for one specific reason. Let's take a look at this list again. There's one name on here that has me thinking of that old Army meme that used to go around on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. And that's sort of what I feel like with JT Realmuto in this list right here. I mean, if the Red Sox are considering JT Realmuto as this sort of secondary complementary big bat this offseason, we may actually be in real trouble here. Don't get me wrong, JT has had some big seasons at the plate before. I mean, he's a career 270 hitter with a 328 on base percentage and a 447 slug for a 110 OPS plus. That's 10% above league average. He's had seasons with 20 plus home runs. He's had seasons where he's been a 6+ WAR guy. He just simply hasn't been that guy for a while. His last truly like hell yeah type offensive season was back in 2022. This year, an average of 257, an on base percentage of just 315, and just a 384 slug for a 91 OPS plus. That's 9% less than your league average bat there. Sure, he would probably be marginally better than Connor Wong is at backing up Carlos. Is that exactly the guy that you want to bring the thump, to bring the thunder to this lineup? I don't think it is, right? Especially at 34 years old, it would most likely be a 2-year deal for $10-12 million a season. I mean, you stick him in here and you look at what kind of impact he could have comparatively to a guy like Alonso or Schwarber or even Okamoto, who we're going to talk about in a second, and it's a full step down from any of those guys. So what worries me about him being included in this article is John Heyman sat there, he said, look, if I just include JT Realmuto in here, and it's in reality the Red Sox looking to sign one of Schwarber, Alonso, Bregman, and then add Realmuto to the back end, I can say the Red Sox are looking to add 2 big bats, right? Hey, I'm not wrong. The Red Sox did add 2 big bats. JT Realmuto's a previous all-star type thing, right? Where it's not clickbait, it's not lying, but it's also not fully the truth here, right? It's a good way to generate clicks without, saying that you were wrong about the Red Sox going for 2 big bats. If you had a guy like JT Realmuto in here, and I think that's the big thing for me that gives me pause immediately with this article. The other guy that's sort of not in this similar category is Okamoto, right? I think when you sit there and you look at it, it's like Realmuto's way at the bottom here, and then Bregman, Schwarber, Alonso, those guys are the top, and Okamoto's just somewhere in the middle. Now, to me, it's a little bit of a different story with Okamoto than it is with Realmuto. If you sign a Pete Alonso or a Kyle Schwarber or Alex Bregman, which it feels like is the most likely outcome right now, and then sign Okamoto, I actually think it'd be a great complementary piece, right? I don't know if I'd consider him a big bat here, but this is a guy who has plus defense at both first base and third base. This is a guy who has plus contact at the plate and handles high velocity pretty well. Plus, he is a guy who has hit 30 plus home runs pretty consistently in the NPB. A right-handed power hitter that has good defense could work perfectly with any of these guys, right? I mean, you sign Bregman, you're getting that contact, you're getting decent defense at third base, you're not getting a ton of that power. You sign Okamoto with him, well, you're also getting good defense at first base, and you are getting that power, right? On the flip side, you sign Alonso, and you get that kind of really big power bat, but you don't get a ton of good defense. Well, now you got Okamoto to fill in at third base and help you with that defense over there, right? He feels like sort of a perfect complement to any single one of these players. So I would be pretty happy with the Red Sox if they ended up going with one of the big 3 and then kind of branching out and getting an Okamoto, but again, I don't know if I'd put him in that sort of like big bat kind of category. He's still not that like clown standing behind the other soldiers type meme though. The second update I wanted to talk to you guys about was actually a Jarren Duran trade, because it appears as though the Royals have at least had preliminary talks with the Boston Red Sox. According to Ann Rogers, who is a Royals beat reporter over there, right now the asking price for Duran is too high for the Royals' comfort level, adding in that the Red Sox are looking for major league ready starting pitching. This is a fantastic update to me, to be honest with you, right? I know it sounds like the Royals and the Red Sox are worlds apart on where Duran's value is right now, and that sounds like it could potentially be a bad thing, but we've been saying from the beginning, if you're going to trade any of these outfielders, right, Abreu, Duran, it needs to be for a specific reason. It can't just simply be because there's a logjam in the outfield right now, right? That would just simply end up being a dump of a guy who could be a legitimate impact player on your team going forward. If you're going to move one of these players, it has to be for a specific reason, and this is why when we sat here and we talked about the report that the Red Sox are shifting their focus to the offense and then may circle back to the pitching, I didn't panic, right? And I think a lot of people panicked and said, oh my God, this is the last pitching move the Red Sox are making after they traded for Sonny Gray. Like, this is it. This is in reality why the Red Sox made that transition. The trade market specifically for these mid-market teams is going to sort of take a while to develop. The Royals, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Cincinnati Reds, these sort of teams that want to improve their team but may not want to end up spending a ton of money could end up getting pretty desperate towards the end of the offseason here. If they can't sign a name like they want to sign, which is a big reality right now, they're going to try to look to that trade market in order to get that done. The Royals have a lot of interesting pieces that could be really impactful for the Red Sox. Obviously, you got Cole Reagans at the front of that thing, which would be a huge get for the Sox, but even a guy like Chris Bubik or a name like Noah Cameron in the back end would be incredibly intriguing, right? If you hold the line here, Craig, these teams could eventually put one of those names on the table, and if you do, all of a sudden the trade of a Jarren Duran, the trade of a Wilyer Abreu becomes a whole lot easier to digest, right? Because what you're doing, instead of just sort of dumping them for, maybe some decent prospects or whatever, you're transitioning that talent at the big league level into other areas of the team that could also use that talent, right? So to me, this is actually an encouraging update. One, it means the Red Sox are still talking about adding a starting pitcher, and two, it means that the Red Sox are holding Jarren Duran to a high standard, and both of those things, in my opinion, are really, really positive. All in all, I would say actually all of this is pretty positive, right? I mean, you sit there and you say, okay, for the first time this offseason, you're looking at a potential reality where the Red Sox end up, they trade for Sonny Gray, they add two legitimately named bats, right? Not just sort of guys that you sit there and you say, well, maybe they'll work out, but two legitimate, hey, this is going to be a difference maker in your lineup. And then potentially another trade for a young, controllable starting pitcher. Yeah, I think that would be a real indication that the Boston Red Sox are here and they're here to play. I mean, with this trade update, you're legitimately sitting there thinking to yourself for a second, and we'll see exactly how this plays out, right? Because normally it doesn't play out incredibly well for the Red Sox, but with the fact that they took advantage of a team that was willing to shed a ton of payroll and just try and get this Chaim Bloom-esque rebuild going here, puts them in a little bit of a position of advantage in the trade market, doesn't it? Because they're not desperate to get that young, controllable potential ace. It just means that they would add to this team and make it better by doing so, and I think that's an important note to make as well. And I think that's a reason why this Duran news is coming out the way it is. Overall, right, you come out of an offseason with those ideologies, I mean, you're in a really, really good place. Now, to me, I'm sort of tepidly excited about where the Red Sox are at right now, right? I came into this offseason with a lot of excitement. I think I've tampered those a little bit. It's not because I don't think the Red Sox have the capability of making the moves that are necessary to sort of separate themselves as this could be an interesting wild card type team, and hey, this is a team that's clearly fighting for a division here, but it's because we've been burned so much in the past, right? Where over the last couple of years, it's been like, yeah, if you make these moves, now you're a division contender, and last year you got really close, but you didn't get that quite long-term, legitimate game-changing type move, right? I mean, obviously Garrett Crochet is that, but you needed multiple, and until you get multiple of those, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to sit here and say that it's totally okay to expect total excitement. Now, I also think we should be holding this team to a high standard. This, to me, is sort of the bullseye the Red Sox need to hit, right? You need to get two legitimate impact bats, and adding another high-leverage starter like this would totally change the entirety of the Red Sox team, and that's where I think that I'm holding this team accountable. If this is not what you accomplish this offseason, then we have a little bit of a conversation, but for right now, this is all just sort of wait and see. This is all just sort of, okay, this is a great update, but until contracts are signed, until trades are made, I'm not going to get crazy excited about any sort of report like this. However, we should be getting at least a little bit of updates soon here. Winter meetings start the 7th, and that's usually when, bigger free agents start to make decisions. It's usually when trades start to get heating up a little bit. So we'll see kind of what the market's looking like by then. But until then, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? What do you think about these updates? Are they overwhelmingly positive to you as well, or are you sitting there a little bit negative, a little bit pessimistic about these? Let me know all your thoughts. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.